On a few occasions I've been asked what gear I use or what camera I use or, things like that. So just a short video while I'm home, just to show you what I use. So this is the camera I use. So it's not too heavy to carry, it's pretty light, easy to use. And the reason why I did pick this one, just comes on like this. I'm just sitting at home. It's because of these three main reasons. It's got a massive battery at the back, as you can see. So the battery lasts for ages. I did a hike from Canangra to Katoomba, and I didn't use it every day because it was so hard, that hike, but still it lasted the whole time. If I'm out at night filming, especially when we were doing track search for Australia's Bigfoot, it lasted the whole night and till the next morning if I wanted to use it on the way out if I saw something interesting. The second one is, it is 4K, but you're filming UHD. But the second one is when you zoom, it doesn't pixelate when you get to the end of the zoom. And I think it zooms in like 30 times or something like that. So, but that's enough for what I want, because I'm not going to be trying to film a Yowie at kilometers away. I want to try and get them within as close as possible. So the zoom, that's what I look for. The battery life, and there's if you wobble it, it's got inside it's got a stabilizer. So when you, actually there it is, 20 times optical zoom. So when you actually were walking and you can't hold it still, but I try to hold it as still as I can, it actually makes things a lot steadier than other cameras. So this is the actual model that I use, and it's quite sturdy. On the first occasion I took it out, I did drop it, which you see the dents on the microphone there. I did drop it and it fell down George's Pass, which is up past Canangra Walls, and bounced down rocks, and luckily it landed on some leaves, but still working fine to this day, and it's been a few years now. So yeah, it's one of my essential pieces of kit. It's one of the first things that gets put into my bag. So that's the camera I use. It does have night vision capabilities, and the sensor is just on the bottom left here where my thumb is, but it's not that strong. So I went to one of those Go shops online and bought this little IR box. It's got 4 IR lights on it, and it connects pretty easily in here, as you can see. And yeah, it works quite well. I don't use it as much as I used to, seeing that I've got the thermal monocular, but it takes a little, one of those 9-volt batteries, one of those square batteries, just goes in the back, and it's really light, it's not heavy, and that's what I use, and a couple other people I've seen that go out with this type of camera have something similar. So yeah, it's probably cost me $100, something like that, for the shipping. But yeah, it's it does boost the range of the camera at night time, and yeah, I chuck it in the bag, even though sometimes I don't use it. I'd always have it available there if the opportunity to use it happens, and I'll pull it out, and it only takes a few seconds to hook up, and then you're in action at night with this camera. Okay, the one of my latest pieces of kit I bought within the last 2 years is the thermal monocular. It's a guide 50mm. I think it's called a track IR 50mm. So very easy to use, but you still got to know what these buttons do, because they do have double functions depending on how long you press the button for. There's like a quick press and a long press, and yeah, it's what Buckingham managed to record up in Springbrook. So yeah, it's really good. So it's a few different functions. I like using Like if I'm looking at the sky, for some reason, I like using the black hot. It just seems to pick up things pretty good. I think Dean and the boys up at EYR like using the iron hot, which everything comes up like a bright yellow. I do use that one, but I do use the black hot. I find, as you can see, things in the bush a lot better. That's just my preference. But yeah, that's look, they're around 3,000, bit over $3,000. So it's really good for battery power. I have not run it out, and I've used it for like sometimes nearly all night, not constantly. And one thing I do like on it, you can keep it on a standby instead of turning it on and off. You kind of turn it off, but you only let it go through half its function. If you look on the screen, it says off, and there's like a red line. And when it gets about halfway to the end, you take your finger off, and the light here will stay green. And so if something happens, you can just press the on button straight away, and it'll turn straight on instead of pressing the button and waiting. It takes about 10 seconds before it's fully functional again. So yeah, it's a pretty good piece of kit, and yeah, I'm glad I bought it. And I know people have bought some thermals that are about $700-800, but the battery life, they chew batteries real quick. So they've all got an internal lithium, but it's you get what you pay for. So I can get like a military grade one and spend $10,000 and have heaps more options. But for me, hiking to places, trying to keep my bag as light as possible, this is probably, I think it's like 700-800 grams or something like that. So it's not even a kilo. But yeah, I love using it. The only problem I find is you get if you use it for a long time, you kind of stop using it in the dark and you can't see out of your eye that you've been using for a while. It takes a while. It takes you about 5 minutes to adjust. So what I do is the internal brightness, I turn it right down to about 10%. If you have it on full, it's going to hurt your eyes. So what I do is you can record or take photos with this. So it's got 16 gig memory, or you can send it to like a Wi-Fi to your mobile phone or iPad or something. And Tilla Caldy and myself, when we've been out, we've had it on a gimbal, and the gimbal's just been twisting around, and we've just been recording or watching things through the iPhone or iPad or my actual phone. And as soon as I think something's happening, I'll hit record, and everything gets recorded on your phone, and you can just watch it on your phone straight away. So, but if you record on this, the Monocular, you'll have to go back to a computer and then hook it up and download it and then watch it. But yeah, battery life says like 5 or 6 hours. I have pushed it to its limit, and it's still got power. Yeah, it's a really good piece of kit. So if you have a chance to get something like this, and you like to go out often, I wouldn't be buying one of these if I'm not going to go out a lot. Like, you don't want to spend $3,000 plus and then have it sitting in the cupboard and you only use it once a year or something. Like, I use this all the time. So going out next Saturday, so I'll be using it again. So yeah, so if you're going to spend the money, make sure you spend the money properly. So with something like this, you're going to use all the time. The head torch I use is the LED lenser. The model is H142R. It's probably about 6 years old. It's one of the brightest head torches I've seen around. People have joined me on occasions and said their head torch is really bright, but when I turn this on, it just, clearly it's brighter than theirs. This lights up the bush like it's daytime. Good thing about it's not too heavy, even though a lot of head torches are small at the front. This is a bit bulky, but it's not that heavy. You can have the light flashing. You can keep your finger on the button, and it'll go extreme bright for about 30 seconds, and then it'll go back to its normal default setting. You can make it go, brighter more or less by twisting this. I usually just twist it all the way up and leave it at that setting when I'm walking around. I try not to use them when I'm researching at night because it's so bright. Plus, I don't want to let anything know that I'm around. I know walking around and you tread on sticks and, you know, dry leaves and all that kind of stuff, you know, they're going to know you're there when you're walking in. So, but hearing you and seeing you is two different things. So if they can't see you, they know you're there, then they got to try and find you as well. So that's why I don't really use it when we're doing research at night. I'll use it to get to places and then you know, hike out at night once we've finished or I've finished my research. So yeah, it's a nice piece of kit. I've had it for about 6 years, to about $280, I'd say. And yeah, I recommend Lenser. I'm not getting paid by them, but no, they're a great, you know, head torch, and they last a long time. I've had no issues with it at all. Now this is my Parabolic Dish, and it's got a huge sensor on the front. The dish is like 55 centimeters. I have got another one which folds up around like a sausage roll. So if I'm going hiking in, this one doesn't like to be folded up. So sometimes I've just got it strapped on in like a big plastic bag on the outside of my backpack. They can take a lot of punishment, you know. So basically, I had a look at a couple of different sites, but Wildtronics in America seem to have the best. Seem to be the best for me. So I only have this plastic on here, or sticky tape, sorry, because there's a green light there, and in the dark, it just like goes straight in your eyes, and you can't see anything. And if you want to try and hide, you want to hide. Well, you really can't hide because, let's get this cord, because the green light will show you up. So if there's any yowies around or anything, you're going to be able to see you. I have previously hooked this little sound recorder to it. This is the one I unfortunately went out the other week and the card's corrupted in there. I've got to have a look at it. Look, I've had this Sony note taker for well over 10 years. I think it was just the card. I don't think it was the actual sound recorder. But I have upgraded to this one, the Zoom H5, and you can join it up with these XLR points cable, and that just goes in the bottom right here, and then goes in at the top right there. So you put that in, and then I've got these Sony headphones, the ones where you press the button and you can't hear anything else, noise cancelling I think they're called. This is like the I think it's like a H4 or something. I'll have to see what it says on there. It's a the model is I think it was like a H4, not quite sure, but the pair that my wife uses is the model just before this one. This one here has a few gremlins in it for what I need. I'll still use it, but sometimes if you try to whisper to someone that's next to you and to say, oh, you know, I can hear like a wood knock or something, it turns off. Well, it doesn't turn off, it just, you can't hear what the sound recorder is picking up. So you've got to go through the motions. I haven't really used them that much with the Parabolic Dish, but I've got to get out there and practice with it more. But I have used my wife's pair, which is I would prefer, but they didn't have them in stock no more. They upgraded to these ones. It's the same thing, but it just has that that voice activated thing, and I've just got to work out how to turn the bloody thing off. So you basically just plug this in the side, the cord goes into the headphones, and you can listen to it, what's going on, and then this can record it. This does boost the sound a bit. Could adjust the sound with this, but this is the Wildtronics Parabolic Dish, and yeah, it's been really good. It's picked up some really great sounds over the last couple of years. I never go without it, but the only thing is, even if it's like I've got the windsock on there, but even though I've got the windsock, yeah, if once it's windy, it's just, yeah, it's out. It's pretty much out of play. It's got to be quiet in conditions because trees do hit each other, and when they do, they make a knocking sound. And sometimes, we've been out the bush and we've done a wood knock, and then next minute we get like a reply, and then we do another one, and then it replies and then after 5 minutes we're thinking, what's going on here? And next minute we realise that after 15, 20 minutes, it's just the trees knocking, not us. So yeah, so it's not us getting replies. So unfortunately, them things happen, and he's got to deal with it at the time. But yeah, this is probably to get it into Australia, you've got to pay like, I think it was like $300 in like income tax or some, what do you call it, in goods coming in, receiving goods tax or something. Can't remember the name of it. Pretty hopeless in that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's depending on what the rate of Australian dollar is compared to American dollar. That's how much it is. But you're looking anywhere between about, I would say, with the dish, like you got a handle, the actual dish, everything. I probably think I paid about $2,000. I've got like a bar. I've got some extra stuff, so a bar to go on top of the tripod, and then I screwed this in, so it's just sitting up right on a tripod. You might have seen my videos where I have got that, and I've had my camera and the parabolic on the tripod, but I pretty much just put the parabolic on there now and don't worry about the camera. I use the camera just by my hands, and I use it while I've got the headphones on, so I'm doing two things at once. And the only thing about this is when you go out, I try to have it where I'm with like as less people as possible, because if you're 10 or 20 meters behind me and I've got this parabolic dish facing one way and you're behind me the other way, it will still pick up you walking around. Like it'll pick things up. But just because the dish isn't facing that way, doesn't mean it's not going to pick it up. So it's really strong. I've been a couple of 100 meters away from people and I've pointed it towards them. I can hear every word they say. So yeah, so it's once again, you only want to buy something like this and spend the money if you're going to use it a lot and get your money's worth. If you're going to use it once here and there and put it in the cupboard, it's not worth wasting your money. Okay, so to go to this Zoom 5. I do like it. It's pretty good. But the only thing it does is chews the batteries. But it does come in a nice little case. I'll show you here. So it comes in a nice hard case, and so you can take it, and it won't get wet if it's raining, if you're out in the rain, and you can take this top off here. That does come off pretty easy. I'll try and do it here. You can see how it comes off and just plugs in there. But yeah, that's I did see Attila using this, and I asked him what was that, and he said that's what he uses. And you can have him. Attila just has it and points it and goes, and talk the direction he wants to record, and it does pick up things from the noises from the bush quite well. So yeah, it's just runs on 2 AA batteries, and yeah, I can't really say too much about it other than it does a good job. It's probably, I got it for about $320 or something like that, but a lot of places have them up to like $400, so just shop around if you're going to use one. I haven't really used it much other than just plugging everything in, putting the batteries in, hooking it up and pressing record. That's pretty much all I use it for. That's all I do. I haven't got into too much with that. But like everything else, if you're going to spend the money, use it as much as you can, get your money's worth out of it. Okay, this is my last piece of kit, probably the most important. Hiking thongs. I just had to fix them the other day. They busted a plugger for the second time. And yeah, so I had a bit of a rest and going out next week, so the hiking thongs will be getting used. So you can see it's got a nice bit of tread. They're getting worn out. I've had them for a while, and yeah. So yeah, hiking thongs, a must-have when you're going out hiking.